refuge, that the Rambam puts this proof in a separate halacha. He does not bring it together with the first two proofs from V'shav Hashem Elokecha Shvuzcha and Afba Pashas Bilam. Rather, the Rambam decides to separate it, put it on its own. And the question is, why does the Rambam separate it? Why doesn't he bring it together with the first two proofs? So we have explained several explanations. The first proof, the first reason which the Rebbe pushes away, the Rebbe starts off by saying that the Rambam is only bringing a proof. First, the Rambam brings proofs that are clearly in Torah. This that he's kofer in Torah brings V'shav Hashem Elokecha that it's Bilam's the Nevuah's Moshe Rabbeinu kofer b'Torah. It's V'shav Hashem Elokecha Shvuzcha. Kofer b'Moshe Rabbeinu is the second proof, and there's only two things: kofer b'Torah and Moshe Rabbeinu. That's the first two proofs. The third proof is not shaykh to kofer b'Torah or Moshe Rabbeinu. It is a proof it's a proof from a remes. The proof is only from a the third proof is a mitzvah. But after that, the Rebbe explains that it's not a proof from a svara or from a kofer b'Torah v'Moshe Rabbeinu. It's a mitzvah. The Rebbe says it's very hard to say so, like the Rebbe explains later on. The next proof the Rebbe comes to say that the Rambam is coming to bring about, to emphasize that the Rambam is coming to bring out this concept of this, that Torah and mitzvahs is going to be returned to its most complete sense. That we see this from the first two proofs, that the Torah and mitzvahs is going to return to the way it was once upon a time. The third proof emphasizes that not only will Torah and mitzvahs return to the way it was in the past, but it's going to be added. Torah and mitzvahs is going to receive an addition. That there's going to be added a whole new mitzvah that we weren't able to fulfill in the past, and that is the cities of refuge. The next explanation that Rebbe says is that the Rambam is coming to prove what he's saying in Halacha Gimel, that there won't be miracles when Mashiach comes, because we see that we're going to need cities of refuge. But the Rebbe says you cannot say that is either the reason, because if so, then why would the Rambam bring a proof from Rabbi Akiva that he said Ben Koziba was Mashiach, and didn't ask him to make Isis Meisim if you can bring a clear proof from the Chumash that says we're going to add cities of refuge. So basically the Rebbe comes over here and explains that the Rambam is bringing it in a separate halacha to bring about, to emphasize how strong it is, how it's stronger than the first two proofs. The first two proofs doesn't have to be eternal on its own, or it could be only beruchnis. Maybe if you do an aveda, maybe take it away. But here, because it's a mitzvah of Torah, a mitzvah of cities of refuge, so it must be b'kashmiyus, and it's not possible to change. And even if they didn't do avedas, there's no such a thing. This is what the Rebbe basically explains till now. Now, the Rebbe, we're bringing another explanation from the Rebbe al Pichsidis, more why the Rambam brings it in a separate halacha. This is from the Hadar and Al Rambam from Tavshin and Aleph. The Rebbe explains, V'locha Aleph budgeshes shleimus ha'elam shenasis b'hashiva min ha'galus sheyichedum lekayim halachas ha'teira b'tachas ha'shleimus. The first halacha that I'm emphasizing how the world will come to its completion, which means when we're saying the world will come to its completion, we're emphasizing the world the way it is in a limited world, which that is the idea of fulfilling Torah and mitzvahs in its most complete form. But this does not mean that the world, you're going above the limitations of the world. This completion of the world, that the world will come to its completion, this is a geula it has a connection to Golus. It's compared to Golus. It has to do with the Golus till that what makes the word geula, the word Golus, geula. You're just adding in an aleph, which this is emphasizing the level of geula, the way the geula is shaykh to the world, the way it's shaykh to the limitations of the world, the way it's shaykh to Golus. K'mudgesh b'kosav v'shava shava l'kecha shfuzcha v'richamecha v'goymer v'richamecha v'shavik v'betzcha v'goymer nidachcha To the first proof, the Rambam says there's going to be a Gula. That's the first proof, but you're emphasizing how the Yidden were in Galus, and this is a Geula from Galus. This is a level of redemption that it has a connection to exile. It's a redemption from exile, which means in the redemption you can feel still that it has a connection to exile. You're being freed from exile. Like the Pasuk says, Hashem will have mercy on you, we will gather you. If a Yid's going to be in the corner of the world, Hashem will save him and bring him. Hashava v'kibbutz min ha-galus. You're emphasizing how the Yidden will leave Galus. You're showing how it's a geula, it's a level of redemption that it's only in comparison to the Galus. This is not a geula that it's totally a million times greater than the Galus, going to a whole new level, a whole new world. This is a redemption from exile, so it has a connection to the exile. This is not some great, high, exalted redemption. לכן בפרשת בלעם שניבא בשני המשיח ובמשיח הראשון שהוא דוד שהשיח ישראל מיד צריהם אבל המשיח האחרון שמשיח ישראל ואחרינו ישוע מן הגולוס. So to the second proof that Rambam brings from Parshas Balaam, it also emphasizes that Rambam says that the Balaam said a prophecy about the two Mashiachs, the first Mashiach that was David, that saved the Yidden from the hands of those that oppressed them. So what is the redemption? It's not something so special and great. This is a redemption. He saved them from those that made them pain. Right? And he says so to Mashiach, he's going to come and take them and save them from those that have pained them in their Galus. So this is a redemption from the Galus. This is not something extraordinary that is totally no connection to the Galus. But in the second halacha from the Parshas, the second proof that Rambam brings, from the second halacha, the third proof that Rambam brings, in which he separates it and he does not bring it together with the first two proofs. What does the Rambam say? Halacha beis merumezes hashleimus te'emeisa Mashiach she'eina lefi yerech hagalus shleimus shalamayla me'olam. But in the next halacha, because the Rambam is speaking about a much higher and greater level of geula, that it's totally above, and it has nothing to do with the galus. It's not only a geula from the galus, but it's a geula that has nothing to do with the galus. This is something so great that you cannot compare it to the galus in any way, not even in a form of being redeemed from the galus. This is the geula on its own. This is a completion, a shleimus, a wholesomeness that is higher than having anything to do with the limitations of the world. And this is hinted in the proof, what the Rambam brings, the third proof from Ari Mikla, that the Rambam separates it from the first two proofs. Why? The Pasuk says you're going to broaden the boundaries of your land. You're going to add 3 more cities of refuge. This is emphasizing a concept of broadening, of adding. This is emphasizing an addition, getting a abundance, more than what's needed to fulfill Teda and Mitzvahs B'Shleimus. It's not only a geula from the Galus, it's not only a Hisof and Shleimus Hakim HaTeda VaMitzvahs, but it's much more than that. And the Rebbe goes in more detail to explain how is this halacha from the cities of refuge emphasizing a abundance of being totally broadened, not only what's necessary. Lost love. Shabam nirmas gili ameichin shalamayla b'amidas kanal sivches haynu shenesev al pulas halachas atera be'elim zayin amidas shleimus hahekev nimshach o mezgala gam retzoydev chachmas shalak hadish baruch hu gimel meichin sheklulim b'vchinas shemini shemer hahekev shal dezanas is hashleimus shalamayla ma'ilam. So the Rebbe explains. It says we're going to add 3 more cities of refuge in Kini Kinesian Vekadmoni. This, as Yisrael has 10 lines, or 7 lines that we have now, is hinting to the 7 emotions of a person. Kini Kinesi Vekadmoni is emphasizing on a person's brain, the different abilities in a person's mind and understanding, which is above his feelings. The feelings are emphasizing, the 7 midas is emphasizing on the limitations of the world, it's emphasizing on the halachas, the way it's connected to the world. Then there is the Torah, the way it's connected to the world. Kini Knizi Vekadmoini, which is above 7. This is already going on 8, 9, and 10. This is emphasizing on the Hashem's understanding the way it is, the way it's above the world. And this is totally above the limitations of the world, and that's why the Rambam brings this proof from the cities of refuge, which is just emphasizing on Kini Knizi Vekadmoini, which is above the midis, above 7, above the limitations of the world. This is emphasizing on the Gula, the way it is on its own, totally above the Gullus, above the world, above the limitations of the Gullus and the world and everything. And this is hinted in the third proof that Rambam brings for Bias HaMashiach from Ari Miklat, and therefore, because it's such a high level, that Rambam brings it in a separate halacha, not together with the first 2 proofs, which is emphasizing on Gula from Gullus. Mashiach now.
Look at this.